Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? Tabitha here. I'm back from today's earlier fiasco. Y'all see my tongue is still twisted already again, but it's cool. Um, yeah, today's live fiasco, a hot stinking, but but I am back. I thought I'd come on and do a message of the sacred union of self. Um, from yesterday's card that was pulled in sacred unions and relationships, and it's been pulled a few times through the messages as of late. So, again, because we know that for the next 18 months, again, as I shared in yesterday's message, we will be continuously working on relationshiping. But so much of it is about becoming more sacred and divine in your unions. Again, this does not matter if it is intimate, familial, business. It doesn't matter. It's a relationship. So it's something where we need a lot of cleaning. We need a major astringent. You know, from today's live, some pretty ugly energy up in that message and or up in that live. So it kind of took me somewhere. It took me aback a bit as I was thinking about that ball that was presented to us and where someone did a nasty thing in the ball. So go and check out the video because it was just too much going on. So yeah, if you all are interested, I was looking like a real clown, a real fool. And it's cool, like I said. I uploaded it, I kept it, and because there is still a couple of messages in there. So, just go check it out if you like. But yeah, that act that was, performed in the darn ball, it's just like we are really sad as a species these days. And we just really need love. I'm here in LL Cool J. I'm not really even in the space of clowning right now, but I'm a clown at the end of the day. I am a clown at the end of the day. As I stated in that video as well, my Taurian nature, when I'm not on screen, I'm chilling. Like I'm so chill. I'm so pulled back. That's really who I am. But when it's time to perform, then my moon presents itself and it likes to show up theatrical, pretty big. Um, and I know that also has to do with where my Jupiter is aspected in Leo, which is a performance as well. So, it's just a lot going on. So, and to go into that as well, you know, um, in labeling one another as bipolar, schizophrenic, and all those types of things. That's just a lot of unnecessary labeling. And those cords I'm hearing actually need to be cut. And they're saying to the quick. And I'm hearing, yeah, to the quick. But I'm hearing Arsenio Hall in Harlem Nights, quick, calling Eddie Murphy. So it needs to be done very quickly because it's just too much. We need a lot of centering. Unhealthy energy and patterning has become a major way of life. And this crisis that we are in, again, back to the pandemic, it's been even before that. But for me, because I am in my late 50s, that is the strongest um what word would I like to use? That's just when a lot of creepy energy started to set in where I was aware of what was really going on, where I could see it with super adult eyes, So it's like, my God, this is what we go through, this is what we do, this is what we have to endure. And the fact that it will continue to keep recycling itself over and over and over, you know, and I guess it's understanding for people, when the souls are born, we come here for a reason. Our souls come here to learn lessons. So with that, or at least that's one of the formats of our souls presenting themselves in these bodies. You know, who else, who knows what else is going on? You know, we have the Wizard of Oz, we have the Matrix, we have all of these movies. I'm getting ready to say Oliver Twist, but no. What's the little guy with the Harry Potter? We have all of those movies that show us things. Alice in Wonderland, Supercalifragilistic, Mary Poppins, all this stuff. These are systems that have been put in place to run us in the earth forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's still whatever the issue is to I guess mature the earth. She's I guess she never seems to be mature enough in herself. It's like, and in hearing the word more, seeing, okay, I seeing 7-Eleven and knowing of the Moors, Moor, um, the clan basically, uh, the group, that behavior of is more to them, in that is just continuously wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting. It's so much. Rome, those people were for just always roaming, walking around. Like it's so much. The society of love, Venetian love, but though that type of love, they turned it from Venus, as they say, is a planet of more of sensuality than sexuality. So that for me, I never really knew that, and I'm Venetian. I'm born under the Venetian sign. So I have always looked at it as just, again, romance and, again, love, but sexuality. Yes, sensuality, but deeper into sex. So as I'm learning more, again, getting more into the astrology and that, I'm really becoming more detailed in learning what this stuff is actually about as we are birthing ourselves back into this earth. So we just have to, if we're going to keep coming, and since the earth is desiring and requiring certain things on these missions that we come here for, it seems that we will want to do better. Why continue to pillage her? So, and if we decide, again, those who choose to study the Bible and books on spirituality or religion, cults, and such and thus, um, it seems that after reading and learning and studying, and even, a lot of the stuff is forced on you as a child. So most of us, many of us, know of some format of religion, spirituality, or such and thus. So if you know that you're supposedly supposed to be so-called good, quotations, whatever good is to you, how does that feel inside of you, though? If you're saying, if you feel good, and I remember this, I did this message, or did this was just something I was speaking about years ago on my other channel when I, first started my spiritual journey, but it was years after that. But I'm just saying, so we're back here again, understanding that um, if you love something or someone, or if this or that makes you feel good or whatever, you have the right to assess that as whatever that feeling is of being good or loving to you. So that could be a low vibing energy to someone else. Someone else could think that, okay, I could think, because my morale is set up a certain way. I'm feeling like pew pew, and I use that word. I hope it doesn't affect the video. But if you pew pew someone, for me, that doesn't feel good. I don't like that. It's that's I'm not. It's like a lot comes with that. A lot comes with that. So it's like, geez, okay, that hurts for me. But you have people that can do that, and they can keep it moving. Go bury the body and just do whatever, and keep living for years and years until whatever that karma is supposed to comes and does it to them. And sometimes they don't even get taken. It goes on and lands on maybe a family member or, something like that. So you have people that are okay with that. So my point is, what is good to you? How does that feel to you? D'Angelo, how does that feel to you? It's like your morale is set up that way. But it's like, how can you even judge it? But how can you not judge it as well? Because if you don't have something to judge according to a certain patterning, and if you know how it either feels, or you would rather it not feel on you, then if you can't judge it, then what do you have to go off of? So, judgment is necessary, but not overt, I feel. And so that in that patterning as well, that's something else to think about. But you know, it's just a lot of training that the earth needs to have. And it's just too many of us who are not desiring to make reparations in their bodies, in their minds, in their hearts, in their souls, in their spirits. Like, it's like, I don't know why I'm hearing the word keyhole, and behind it is like showing someone just inserting whatever in that hole. Like, it's okay. I'll just put anything in it. So that means your keys could be rejected. That's where I'm going with that. So if you're one of those people who actually just get excited over any and everything, and you're willing to just jump out there and center yourself in whatever, just come on. I'm just willing to do it all. I want to do it all. And there are some people who are willing to do it all. That's deep for me. That's deep for me. And that's for me. You see, and so hearing how I just sounded, that could be a format of overt judgment because of how I said, well, that's deep. I realize, it's like, that's for you though. So we have to challenge ourselves, I feel, in how we are presenting ourselves and how we are communicating and how we are um, receptive of, and all of those things, and be mindful. And again, the star system is set up in such a way to, again, there are people who just absolutely are like, that means absolutely nothing. Like, the planets don't mean anything. They exist. They exist. So there's something to them, there's something to them, whether it be about the astrology or not. They're here for a reason. So, but with that, because we know that the astrology, I'm hearing the word horoscopes, and see, I believe that has a lot to do with it. How they set it up so many years and decades and whatever ago, turning it into horror, a form of horror. I feel something deep inside of me makes me feel the word horror, turned it into something aggressive, malignant, and scary. And so now that's why people don't really want to fool with it. But I'm hearing the word distrusted. Um, but I feel, and I'm hearing someone bullied people into not accepting it for what it was, or not being able to trust it. But just again, doing synastry, SYN, not SIN, SYNASTRY, I think, SYNSTARY, yes, synastry, and the composite charts is so necessary in relationshiping, um, in business, in whatever formula there is going on in the earth. It will assist us and show us how to gather ourselves and how to compartmentalize how we feel, how we move, how we may need to work on a certain part of our shadow, and all of that. And that will help us to know when to do this or that, know who to couple up with, and all of those things. I know back when I first started studying, getting such and thus, that small mind, the teaching then, it was you read it and it says, okay, Taurus, this is how Taurus is described, XYZ. Now it was so surface and just made Taurians seem like a Taurian is just about food, smecks, and being stubborn. And so that's how you're labeled, those simple aspects. And you're a bull. You're bullheaded, and that. And it's like, wow. And so, but you accept that because that's what it's showing until you get older or until you're willing to look deeper into yourself. And you start reading, you're realizing, oh, wow, there's so much more to the character of whatever your astrological sign is. And then you realize that you have 12 more planets that you are connected to. Again, don't forget Ophiuchus, if that's how you pronounce it, that 13th planet. But we definitely, again, have been only working with the 12. So yeah. But you have other aspects of yourself. Then here comes the planets crossing and all of that kind of stuff, sextiling and just a whole bunch of everything. You're like, wow, I'm this beautiful being inside of myself. I'm not so surface. I'm not so simple in who I am. I I have more depth than that, and I don't have to I don't have to just be this stubborn person. I don't have to be gluttonous and greedy. That's that's the surface, or even to me, the lower vibrational aspect of the Taurian nature, if you ask me. And so when you look at those and then you say, well, how can you regroup from this? Well, it's there. It shows you. It actually tells you this is the aspect of the lower nature of said zodiac sign, and you actually should be working against those aspects of yourself. So, I don't know why I'm even all up. Well, we just gonna keep going, y'all. We're gonna keep going. Something is coming out of it. But at any rate, all of these things are what affect relationshiping at the end of the day. Um, but because we have taken on that word horror again, so many people just shoo it away, and it's like, what does that matter? I don't even really know what that even means. It means a lot. And the union of self, to the getting more into it at this point, the union of self is very important, and knowing how to partner up with yourself. So, when you're looking at your composite chart and the synastry and all of that stuff, it's telling you what type of partner um you should pair yourself up with, to be safer in your relationship, and should you desire to marry or whatever, you know, that will let you know who you should pair up with. You know, a lot of that stuff, just again, because I don't touch on political stuff and all of that, but for whatever reason I'm low key being kind of pushed into it just a little bit, just to just speak about it just a little bit, like minimally. I don't have anything really to say about it. It's not my forte, it's not my thing. But looking at the presidents in the voting system, and see, I know people gonna start with some other stuff in it. That's why I don't like to touch on political stuff, because I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care. Um, the presidency is already set up. I'm just gonna say that, and a lot of that is done according to the zodiac signs, when they're born, all that kind of stuff. The governmental system is set according to that. The industry in itself is set up according to that. Now, I don't know a lot about what I'm talking about, but I know enough about what I'm talking about. So, in that, this if they utilize it as a tool, they even go to psychics and readers and such and thus. Like, if you want to follow the political aspect of life, and that's the masses, then what are you not catching up with? Like, there's something to it. They're keeping that away from us. They're the ones telling us, well, brush it to the side. It does not matter. And those things. Like, stop getting caught up in the bull crap. Again, that's the purpose of centering yourself, sitting with both of your divine halves, your masculine and your feminine self, so that they can speak to you. That the Again, they keep us away from spirituality. I'm not saying whoever they is. I'm saying they. Now, I'm not even talking about the politicals or any of that anymore. I'm saying whoever they is. And because everybody follows a they, it's so easy to fall into that group think. And so now nobody is aware. Everybody sleep. And so you come across somebody like me, the weirdo, the oddball. You don't want to be bothered with me because you're talking that weird crap. And then later on, it shows up, and now you looking like the fool because you say, "Oh, well, maybe they are right. Maybe I am. Maybe I am the fool. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about." I know from my journey, that's kind of what it became. Again, going back amidst COVID, like, I started to lose myself because I was comparing myself to everyone else, and because the energy was that was a very strange energy. Whatever kind of smoke they put in the air and whatever kind of scales they put over our eyes, it still managed to take a hold of me in some way. So, yes, I was still aware, but I was not afraid. I was kind of I'm going to say afraid. I wasn't afraid. It was just like I did become afraid at some point when all my life started going totally, like, I had event after event after event happen for about 5 years. But I was learning amidst all of that as well. But the beginning of it, I was like, okay, you've done something wrong. Like, you've totally done something wrong. And then as the years continue to pass on, I'm seeing everybody else. Now the masses are doing what I and the group of people that I had linked up with years prior to that were already doing, and we were already teaching, and we were already sharing. And now the collective, the masses of the collective are doing it. And it's like, oh, wait, hold up. Now everybody is saying what we were saying, but we were the oddballs. And so now I have to catch back up again. It becomes weird. So that's the purpose. My point in that is, stay centered in yourself. Your own intuition is very important. So that's the purpose. I feel like too, like when I mentioned the virus and all of that kind of stuff, coming across the airwaves, the World Wide Web, and all of that, intimacy, not into me, see, but again, the Roman way, intimacy, smacks, that's virusing. That, even if there's no discharge or anything coming from it, no sickness, that soul connection. And you're connecting your soul to somebody else's soul, to somebody else's soul, to somebody else's soul. Like, baby, that's a That's a That's a no. That's a Again, that's why I was saying in the other video, I think it was yesterday, I had one person after the 15-year exit where that was my only one somebody, and it was hardly never. It was very, very rare in 7 years, 6 years. It was very rare. So, but it was because I'm like, I'm not trying to. I've cleaned myself up, and so in cleaning myself up in this season, it's like I'm not trying to step back into that. So I was always mindful of, are you connecting with someone else, and I believe too that was part of the reason why maybe he may have stayed away as he would from time to time, because again, men are somewhere else now, these days. Or men have always been somewhere else, honestly. Or people are always somewhere else. But the energy now is just something different. So because I believe maybe because I did share with him that I am intuitive. I don't know how much he believed it or not, but my intuition out along with my body always would speak to me and kind of let me know if something would be going on. And if he wouldn't pull away, my body would start doing some other stuff and be like, yeah, something going on. Whether it would be, even if he wasn't intimate with someone else, it maybe was possibly him rejecting me amidst the intimacy or after it and saying, I'm just here for this. This is the only thing I'm here for. I'm not here for anything else. I just want this. And then you can go. My body knows. So my point in saying all of that is it's about being mindful of your connections and who you are connecting with, and again, just swapping energy without being extra nasty. Like I've already said, enough nastiness. And so it's like just being mindful of that. You want a sacred union. You want 6. 15 is what's on the card. You want 6, which is financial stability. In the readings past 2 days, we've had the wealth and prosperity card. The first day we got it, it was inverted. It was in hangman position. But yesterday we got it and it was upright. So if we could stay in that frequency, then all would be well. But there are only 2 or 3 of us out here that are willing to honor ourselves in such a way. And I've learned as well, I've known this for enough time now, a lot of years, enough years to where I see why people tend to stare at me in such a way, especially now that I am pretty much clear in the intimacy spectrum. It's kind of like, because it's like the purity in you starts to show up. So people don't really know what to do with that. You're radiating, no matter what you may look like exteriorly. And like I said, I'm not well. So I look at myself now, even when I clean myself up and make myself presentable, I look so raggedy to me because I know what I can look like. But if I can go in a pair of sweats and a baseball cap, and because I do that a lot nowadays. Like that's how I've been maybe for the past 4. Like I said, when I mentioned Uber Eats, when I started doing Uber Eats, that was when I started baseball capping it, and that with the sweats or just some raggedy jeans or something. Still neat because again, I'm Venetian, so I still like to be neat, but I'm a practical girl as well. So it's like, but even if I just have something like that on, there are still stares. And then a brother may be like, and I'm always wearing like my little fragrances and stuff. So that draws people in. And so I'll get a compliment on that. But then a brother will be like, you look, you got something different going on. You appear well put together. And so in that, I'm looking at them like, what? I'm saying thank you, but I'm saying to myself, I know I look like just Raggedy Ann, like I was saying in the videos yesterday. Like I definitely am not how I know I can present myself, but it's like the light. My point, the light inside of me is what's radiating. That's what they are picking up on because I'm not giving my soul over to anyone in that way. I'm not just, and again, here's something else, y'all. A smell, especially on a woman, but I've smelled a smell on brothers as well, brothers, where you can tell it's too much going on. Like, how many people are you connecting with? And if it's not you, your person is. But in a woman, and I'm saying from my own self, when I was out there hot thanging it, baby, and then when I stopped, and I'm saying baby, because that's when I realized that after I stopped passing myself out like that, when I stopped doing it that way, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I don't even have to eat the pineapples, it's just a different smell. Now, as you age, there is something else that starts to go on, but it's not a smell of you being passed around or who your person is passing themselves around and jugging it up in you. And that's something else. Your person, you want to be like, that's where the healthy eating and all of that comes in. Like, we have to be mindful of the food consumption and all of that. How can you be sacred if you're not treating your body sacred? Again, you are God's body. You are God's body. So when people get offended, and if you're one of those people who be like, well, I am God, you are. You're a formula of God. Goddess. You are. What are you upset with me? You are too. Is that part. The Most High wants you to know that. If you don't know that, then He can't trust you. She can't trust you. Your masculine and feminine halves cannot trust you. That means that you are not reporting to the truth of yourself. That means you don't give a damn about how you appear. You're not appealing to the Most High. So here you are in struggle sick mode. Hence, again, here I am. How did I get here? 9 times out of 10, outside of after the 15-year exit, and then amidst the one person thing and trying to figure that out, so kind of stressing through that, and then here come the 4 years, 3 years of Uber Eats. Like I said, baby, that Machiavelli energy and all that stuff, that system, and having to do that to honor myself, it was stressing me, and that made me sick. I know that's where I'm gonna blame it mainly on Uber Eats and the hospital system, because it was so much going on, and I had a mental breakdown. Just to put that out there, I had a mental breakdown amidst that. That's just one thing, you know. And I didn't want to leave because I love my patients. So I did a 2-year stint doing that until I had the breakdown. It was more of a spiritual breakdown, honestly. I don't even want to label it as a mental breakdown. It was spiritual. The Most High was telling me, girl, if you don't get the hell up out of here, this is not your thing. I told you to do something else. You out here trying to fit in. For what? I didn't say that. Who told you that? Because I was trying to fit in. That was that season. You're not securing your soul with yourself, your essence, your true essence. How can you be sacred if you have to put your boundaries up and all of that? And as I'm saying that, so here, when I was mentioning the other day, and I was saying, go another card, but as I was saying, like when the Most High, as I've been doing the messages since I've opened up this channel, is I'll hear them say, ask me a question, and I went and started looking up, for whatever reason. I don't even know how it all came back around full circle, but when I started studying Venus and then Inanna and then Ishtar and then came to Sacred Me, I'd never heard Sacred Me before. So today something told me to look it up. Google has everything. And so it does. It's giving clarification of, basically, it's shown as root words for each word. However, there is a descriptive message. And so in it, it says, without doing all the Latin root and all of that, somebody might want to look it up. So look up how did I state it? Where did the phrase sacred me come from? And Reddit will give it to you. But in going to the usage of sacred me, it says self-care and healing. In modern wellness and psychological spaces, people use phrases like the sacred me to emphasize self-love, bodily autonomy, and treating personal boundaries as inviolable. I never seen that word before. Inviolable. Inviolable. Now I'm gonna have to look that up. Then it says spiritual identity. It reflects a shift where an individual views their own consciousness or existence not as ordinary, but as connected to the divine or ultimate value. Now, I do kind of want to touch on this ancient meaning because that kind of is a little questionable to me. It says most users on Quora agree that it traces back to older Indo-European roots, meaning to sanctify or perform a rite. Over time, it shifted to mean anything entitled to high reverence and protection. So, again, when certain systems put themselves in place and things become a command or a demand, it crosses everything up in union, in life. So now you're entitled to something that's sacred and you're doing a performance of some rite. What is that? With spirituality, with sacredness. So, it's just so much that comes with all of this. So that's why I'm saying it's just being mindful of trusting yourself and the inheritance of the Most High, that has come to bless you with something inside of yourself. But we so busy out here getting busy. It's cute, it's fun when you're younger. It is what it is. That's life. That's life. But at some point, it's kind of like, come on, do you really like how this feels on you? And if you don't put yourself in a certain position, then you won't have to do that. And I do understand that everyone, most of us, have had a life, many of us anyway, have had a life to a growing up of misunderstanding, not listening to your parents sometimes, one parent homes. I can't just say it's just the mother raising the kids. No more, like fathers are doing their thing as well nowadays. It's so. And I'm saying nowadays, I don't know. It could have been the same way many, many years ago. I don't know. And actually, it has, because I've watched some black and white movies or movies as the years, old years, 70s, where I've seen the men just raising the kid by themselves. Like, we just have to be for real here. The cycles come around. They go back around, around, and around. So the point is, you have one parent homes, and the kids don't want to listen. And sometimes the parents don't know what to do, how to raise their kid, how to raise the kid because of how they've been raised and how they've been raised and how they've been raised, and the patterning and the patterning and the patterning. Stop. At some point in the Bible, it tells you to go on and tell mama and them bye bye, bye bye. Gotta go, gotta go. At some point, they ain't got no business minding your business. At some point, now keep it real, little ones. Listen to your parents until it doesn't make sense. I remember when I was still doing this, and I thought this was so beautiful, and it seemed some brothers. And even the person I was with for the 15 years. I mean, hey, when you can find somebody who is willing to be there for the children, pay attention to that in the way of daddy want to be a daddy, and when it ain't in a perverse way. One of my clients, he was like, he would come in and get his feet done. And we would be having conversations. His conversations were a lot about his children. And he was saying, man, I just can't wait till that last one get on up out of here. He was like, but she ain't got to go nowhere. She can stay right on up in the house with dad and mama until she's 30 years old if she want to. I want her to get it right. I want to finish growing her up. And I thought that was so cool. I thought that was so cool. Because it's like, if you got to do what you got to do to raise them. When my daughter first said that she was getting ready to leave child, she was sick of us before we were sick of her. And he and I looking at each other like, she ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. Oh, baby, she got gone. That hurt my feelings. That hurt our feelings. Because we expected for her to be there a little longer. Now, that ain't to say she didn't come back. But she does her thing. She did her thing. And it was like, when your parents are there for you in a certain way, It's just like give thanks for that and go ahead and let them do that. And when you have four parents, and that was my kids. They had four parents. So it's that. So again, how you raise your children, how you bring them up. Again, that's not to say that issues didn't arise. However, you do what you can do to settle them, teaching them the right way. But at some point, back to the point, you got to leave the children alone and let them go on and do their thing and not be getting upset with them when they choose their choices of how they want to live their lives and who they want to partner with. Because people going to do what they want to do anyway. But to the point of the astrology and all of that, that's where you, as the person saying bye bye, I gotta go, start looking at the astrology and seeing you want people stop getting offended and upset if somebody asks you what's your zodiac sign. I need to know that. I need to know. Don't be telling me I'm you in my business. But you can go online and look me up. Stop playing with me. Don't play in my face. Don't do that. You're tripping because I'm asking a zodiac sign. Like people be doing some weird stuff now, but but it's what it is. So it's just about again learning how to sacred union and centering yourself in that sacred version of yourself, setting up those boundaries. That self-care and healing that they mentioned. You want to, and the boundaries are what I was just talking about with telling your parents at some point it's bye bye, gotta go. You 50 and you still concerned about how your parents are viewing who you're dating? What? That's just odd stuff to me. That's odd. But again, I'm the odd one. So embrace the sacred feminine. So I guess this is your feminine self speaking to you with that number 4. So we got the 6 right there with Isis in sacred relationships. 6 is financial security. 4 is I'm hearing spiritual security, but for me it's just security. Period. But this is a sacred feminine, so that's why they're giving me the words divine and essence. It's spiritual. It's deep. But them coins will start falling from the sky. Once you embrace that sacred aspect of yourself. You want your masculine and feminine selves to cohabitate in togetherness, in loving on themselves. So if you don't put boundaries up and keep people, a person that you may be deciding to become intimate with, or whatever in that way, you have to put boundaries up. So you have to speak up at some point. Now, again, when I was younger, I would feel bad about saying, well, if somebody take you out to eat, I kind of felt a little dumb until I didn't. It didn't take me long to realize, boy, bye. You're not going to be. So, it's like, you taking me out to eat because you want to take me out to eat. You bought me this because you wanted to buy me this. It's that. Don't let nobody make you feel bad or shame you because of what they are choosing to do for you. But ladies, we have to be mindful not to expect for them to do it either, too. That was redundant. But yeah. Like, I don't know what happened. That again, the pandemic. It's like people became very entitled. Again, that entitlement. Like, don't nobody got to value nothing there. When did that become a part of the playbook? And so it's that as well. So now we have a playbook. We don't need, ain't no book. Ain't no book. You're the book. Your masculine and feminine divine essence. Sit and center yourself and allow your body to speak to you. Your body and your spirit, man, woman. It's not woo woo, y'all. It's not scary. It's not mysterious. It's not any of that. It's mysterious to those who have not sat with it. Sat with it, sat with it. I kept hearing myself when I was saying a newbie the other day. I kept hearing a newbie, the God, Anubis, for those who are aware. Um, so there's something about that Egyptian energy. Um, and the dog, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, we have to be mindful of our connections, of what we have going on divinely inside of ourselves. That it protects us, but it's not woo woo. It's just simply sacred. And the entitlement is the entitlement of God, not something that you got to put on a show. The Most High already gave it to you. You know, we have to be just, we got to stop all this sick butt energy walking around here, like sick relationshiping. Who does that? I didn't even know, and I obviously this kind of stuff been going on. I was just so green and thought I knew what I was doing. Again, teachings and learnings of the parents who didn't know what they were even being taught. You following that suit when you good and grown, child, please. At some point, you have to stop. At some point, you have to stop. How does it feel on you? It's so much stuff. I'm telling y'all. These past 20 years for me, because I was entering 40. I was in my late 30s when I started my true spiritual journey. You know, someone always tells me, "You've been on a spiritual journey. You've been trying to figure it out," and I received that. So you know, people see you for who you truly are before you see who you truly are. You know, but for when I found it and saw it in myself and knew what I was doing, I was in my late 30s. I think that was when I started my first YouTube channel. I think I was like 38 years old. You know, it still exists. Indigo Gazelle. No, Indigo Blush. For anybody who want to go look at her, the sis was in beast mode. She thought she knew what she was talking about. Fasting all the time, just talking a whole bunch of mess. It was true, but I ain't really know what I was talking about. I was very green and very new with all them monikers, aka this, aka a hot stinking mess child. But it was a beautiful journey. It was a beautiful journey. So I'm saying it to say I've been in these spiritual streets in such a way for a long time, and it feels good to know what I know. And it's not bragging rights. It's I'm thankful because the Most High came and grabbed my behind. And I know the Most High was trying to grab me long before that. But I wasn't trying to go nowhere, honey. I was sipping cognac. That was the dash. Yes, yes. Child. So yeah. But stop being nasty, y'all. We gotta do better. We gotta do, and I'm not judging y'all. Like, I've been nasty before. I've been nasty. We gotta stop. Because we're never gonna get anywhere. Nothing sacred will come of the unioning that we are attempting to bring into being. And those who are still having, little ones, it's going to keep going. So that's the point. It's as you clean yourself up, you will be able to teach your little ones the way that feels best for you and your household. You know? Honestly, now one thing I will say about um and it's still out of order because that's still control, but I get it. When families, and these are elite systems or systems of higher standing, have marriages set up, you're pairing your children with the person, and it's all about money in that way. Now that was that system in that, in those seasons, and it made sense financially, but that's not what the Most High is asking of us now. The earth has been evolving, and I guess hence that's why Mother Earth continues to require more of us. That's why the lessons change. So that's the top of the message. So thank you, Most High. Thank you, Mama Earth. Back in those days, that was what she was asking for. Pairing up couples according to number six, finances. Ain't nobody doing that no more because ain't nothing sacred about that. If it's just about money, that just brought on greed, salacious appetites, a very Taurian and I feel Leo in vibration. Libra is Venetian as well, but to me, their Venetian energy to me is just more beautiful. They have their eye is they just have a more a classy a classy type of frequency. My son is Libran, you know. Um So it's just something soft. Even in the man, though, that even if in them being masculine, they have an eye for a softer touch. And I just like that Venetian energy in Libra, um, in that way. I won't say more than in Taurus, but just in that way. It's just more classy, I feel. But it's just about exercising um certain the accuracy, basically, back to the point of partnering. You're wanting a sacred union now. Ain't nobody trying to keep it was not. Oh, back to, yeah, the point was it was greed. So the Taurian Venetian energy, the low vibrational aspect of Venus or Taurus, which is basically glutton, because that's how they label the Taurian nature. Greedy because we like food, we're stubborn, and all that. Like, okay, but I know I got more depth than that, you know. Now, when I was younger, I used to hear sometimes that people would be saying, "You're so stubborn," or no, well, no, that's not. Let me say it right before I say something that they find out what my zodiac sign is, and then they'll say, "Oh, you stubborn. Oh, you one of them. You mean." And I'm looking like, but you don't even know me. And then you get to know me, and you still, like, oh, okay, or you're like, oh, you sure you're a Taurus? Be that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I'm not really that. That's just an aspect of the Taurian nature. And for me, like, it shows up in my chart because my moon paired up with my sun sign. They say it's an odd placement to, in some way, because the moon in Gemini controls my Taurian, controls my makeup in that way, which is what you guys see. Again, my Taurian nature is strong because I have three planets in Taurus. So I'm very Taurian. Again, I'm chill, I'm laid back, all of that. But communication, Gemini takes over when it's time to perform, when it's time to talk. I love a thinking man. I love a man who can hold a conversation. I love a friendship where there's nice conversation. I'm saying females. Like, I'm I want something where I know you can think. And that's something else with people. You look at people exteriorly and you're getting labeled, oh, she's cute. Oh, she dressed this way. Oh, she's cute and she dressed this way. Oh, she dry this. Oh, so you're looking so at that person so superficial, and it's like, what the hell? Cause I look like this, that mean I'm green and I'm stupid. And so then you start having a conversation with me and you looking at me like, oh. And so now you're left out. You are left out because now I'm the weirdo again. So again, is how you need to know your people, your person, people who you are connecting with. That way, all that other side eyeing stuff, and you start hating your person, the people you around, and all that kind of stuff. If it's not sincere, don't come around me. I just don't want it. I don't want it. I'm hearing Diana Ross. Actually, the version by Erica Badu, honey, she slayed that thing. But yeah. I don't, sweet, 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 sweet love. Yeah, she slayed that live, baby. Oh my God, he did that one. But yeah, I don't know why I just went there. Oh, because I said I don't want it. But yeah, it's in my mature age. It's like, just don't come this way. I don't like all that kind of stuff, and I've been like that for a long time, honestly. But I'm the type of person as well who will give somebody a lot of inches until that rope just down to that little nub, honey. And once it make it to that nub, they don't even know they out the door. I don't want to do that. Is my point. I don't want to do that. So but it's just about being mindful of your connections and just cleaning yourself up and honoring the goddess inside of yourself and putting up boundaries and more self-care and all of that is important, especially as a woman, especially with that divine feminine energy. We keep hollering about divine femininity and all of that kind of stuff. It's not just about wearing some nice clothes and smelling good and taking a simple bath. It's so much deeper than that. Though all of that is important. You know, it's about you learning your spirit woman. Start asking her questions. Start talking to your womb. If you feel like if you know that you have and also I'm gonna suggest for those who aren't aware of Queen Afua, Sacred Woman, and brothers, her son has a book, Man Heal Thyself. She has a couple of books, and I think so does he. Queen Afua, and what is her son's name? And that's disrespectful because I know his name, but it's not coming up right now. But yeah, Man Heal Thyself. Is that his book? Let me look it up for the brothers, because hopefully some brother will come along and he'll be able to get the truth of the book because he may want to get it. What is his name? Um, I don't, why do I keep wanting to call that man Sun Ra when I know that definitely Sun Ra is no longer here in the earth, but he was a musician. Very interesting brother, but I like that kind of stuff. Man, heal thyself. Is that? I think that's her book. Oh, no, that's her son book. Okay, yeah. What's his name though? I can't even see it. I need to put my glasses on. Um, Supernova Song. Sorry, brother. Yeah, Supernova Song. Man, heal thyself. How much is the book? Because you can get it on Audible for $8.99, baby. The 8.99. And it's only 19.14 if you want to buy it in person, I guess, or in the bookstore. Oh, that's the auto renewal. No, it costs 19.14. Don't give me the line. Don't hold me, y'all. I'm trying to help us out. So yeah, but to the point, Queen of Four. I have purchased that book a cajillion times, y'all. When I tell y'all, sister, I bought that book almost 10 times. No lie. Why? Because I've given enough of them away. One of them got burned up in the fire. Um, what else? Because yes, sis was in. Yeah, again, child. Y'all don't even know. But anyway, um, I done bought the book about 10 times, and I finally have it and have read it all the way to the end. Finally, and yes, it is a great read, and it really helps. Get the book, Sacred Union, Queen of Four to the ladies, to the fellas. Man, Heal Thyself, Supernova Song. Queen of Four's book is, I think I paid 20, no more than 25. This is every time. Maybe I may have paid 30 in one season when everybody was buying it. I think that was when when in the beginning of my journey, my spiritual journey, I think I did pay like $30 for it, or $32. That was in the beginning. Everybody was on the bandwagon. That was in the community then. It was what we was doing. So everybody was plugging that book in. Um, but now it's like I think I paid like $20 for it. So yeah, but it's still nothing, even if it's 30. Like get the book, support the sister, the queen, because she's definitely worthy. And yeah, heal, y'all. Like we gotta do better. We gotta do better. So yeah, I I'm sure I will be back tomorrow. We done for the day on the messages and me running my mouth. But in this type of content, actually, I would rather put over on my feminine alchemy channel. But I ain't really in the mood to be flip flopping around too much right now because I'm still trying to pull this channel together and pulling the cards to kind of show a bit of what the requirements are. I just, I'm good with that as well. So, but yeah, y'all, let's get it together. And I hope that you all got something out of this. You know, I know it's just me doing a lot of yapping, but it's it's something. Like I'm sure somebody can get something from it. I sure hope so. Again, I'm passionate about healing and self love and just love as a whole, partnerships, family ships, building, just building. All right, y'all. I love y'all much. And y'all have a great evening. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Oh, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. Check out the description box. Books is for reading. Or just a counseling session. I'm no counsel per se, but the Most High blessed me back in those days when I was on my journey, and people found me to be of some sort. So I'm here. I'm here. So book sis, okay? Love you all much. Y'all have a great day. See y'all on the next one.